The first thing a woman says when she cheats isn't what you think. It's not an outright confession. That it's a carefully crafted phrase meant to shift blame, manipulate emotions, and soften the truth. Piety might come in the form of a casual excuse, a defensive remark, or even a sudden accusation directed at you. These words are not chosen randomly. They serve a purpose: to control the narrative before you even begin to question it. Most men don't recognize this for what it is. They brush it off, convincing themselves that it's just stress, a bad mood, or overthinking on their part. But by the time they see the full picture, it's already too late. Cheating doesn't happen in an instant. It builds over time, and the first warning signs are almost always verbal. The shift in behavior, the subtle change in tone, the sudden defensiveness. These aren't just coincidences. A woman who has crossed that line will often try to justify her actions before she's even caught. She might say things like, "You've been distant lately," or "I just need space to figure things out." These words serve two purposes. First, they plant doubt in your mind, making you question whether you're the problem. Second, they create an emotional smokescreen, making it harder for you to see the real issue. The reason most men fail to catch on is simple. They trust too easily. They assume that if they haven't seen undeniable proof, there's no reason to suspect anything. But the truth is, emotional distance, sudden changes in behavior, and vague explanations are all signs that something is off. In this video, we'll break down the psychology behind these phrases, the hidden meaning behind the words, and what you should do the moment you hear them. I need some space. You deserve better. I've just been feeling confused. I don't know what I want right now. These are the words a woman uses when she has already checked out of the relationship, but isn't ready to admit it. They sound harmless, even considerate, but they are far from innocent. If you hear one of these phrases, understand that it's not just about needing time to think. It's a way of creating emotional distance without taking responsibility for what's really happening. It's a cover-up, a way to shift the blame and make you feel like the breakup is your fault, or worse, that you are the one choosing to walk away. A woman who has already stepped outside the relationship, emotionally or physically, doesn't want to be seen as the villain. She doesn't want the guilt, the confrontation, or the responsibility of breaking things off directly. Instead, she starts planting these seeds of doubt in your mind, making it easier for you to be the one to give up first. "I need some space" is often code for "I need room to explore my options without feeling guilty." "You deserve better" is a subtle way of saying, "I already know I'm not being honest with you, and rather than change my actions, I'd rather make it seem like I'm doing this for your own good." It's a twisted form of manipulation that makes it seem like she is looking out for you, when in reality, she is protecting herself. When she says she's confused, what she really means is that she has already emotionally detached, but she doesn't want to deal with the consequences of admitting it. By telling you she doesn't know what she wants, she's keeping the door open just enough to prevent you from walking away completely, while she figures out whether she wants to stay or go. She's already made her choice, but she wants to leave on her own terms, when she feels ready, not when you do. Men often miss the real meaning behind these words, because they assume women are being upfront about their feelings. They believe that confusion means uncertainty, that needing space is just a temporary phase, and that being told you deserve better is some kind of selfless act. But in most cases, these words are not about honesty. They are about control. She wants to leave, but she doesn't want to be the one to break it off. She wants to explore other options, but she doesn't want to feel like she betrayed you. She wants to see if there is something better out there, but she wants the safety net of knowing she can still come back if it doesn't work out. The harsh truth is, when a woman starts using these phrases, she has already emotionally checked out. And the more you chase, the more you try to fix things, the more she pulls away. It's not about needing space, it's about creating an exit strategy. The only thing left for you to decide is whether you'll see it for what it is, or keep believing the words instead of the actions. When a woman cheats, it's rarely impulsive. Unlike men who can separate emotions from physical attraction, women cheat emotionally before they ever cross the line physically. Long before she takes that final step, she has already replaced you in her mind. She has withdrawn, lost interest, and started imagining a life without you. By the time you realize something is wrong, she has likely already moved on emotionally. You just haven't caught up yet. Women don't cheat the way men do. For a man, cheating can be a moment of temptation, a physical impulse, something that happens without emotional detachment. But for a woman, it's different. She disconnects from you first, slowly, subtly. She starts to feel unfulfilled, unnoticed, or emotionally distant. And rather than confront these feelings directly, she finds comfort elsewhere. It might start with innocent conversations, attention from someone who makes her feel seen, or the excitement of something new. But once she starts investing emotionally in someone else, the relationship she has with you is already over in her mind. It's just a matter of time before it ends in reality. Women don't leave suddenly. They plan their exits carefully, step by step. She stops arguing because she no longer cares. She stops sharing things with you because she's already sharing them with someone else. She begins to justify her actions in her mind, convincing herself that she deserves more, that you've changed, that she's not happy. By the time she physically cheats, she has already rewritten the story in her head. You are no longer the person she wants to be with, and this is her way out. So why won't she admit it outright? Guilt. Even if she's detached, she doesn't want to be the bad person in the story. She tells herself that she didn't mean for it to happen, that it's complicated, that she was pushed into it by circumstances. She avoids direct confrontation, not just because she doesn't want to hurt you, but because she doesn't want to face what she's done. Then there's fear. Fear of being judged, of being seen differently by friends, family, or even by you. She knows that cheating carries a stigma, and she doesn't want to be labeled as the villain. Instead, she finds ways to justify it, making it seem like the relationship was already broken beyond repair before she ever stepped out. And then there's the backup plan. She doesn't want to fully lose you, not yet. Maybe things with the other person won't work out. Maybe she's not completely sure she wants to leave. So she keeps you in her orbit, giving you mixed signals, keeping the door open just enough to pull you back in if she changes her mind. She won't admit to cheating because that would force a clean break. Instead, she lingers, stringing you along just in case. By the time you suspect something, she's already gone. Not physically, not yet, but emotionally, mentally. She's checked out. And the biggest mistake you can make is ignoring the signs, believing the excuses, and holding on to something that's already lost. Something feels different, but you can't quite put your finger on it. She's still there, still talking to you, still going through the motions, but something is off. The warmth is fading, the connection feels weaker, and no matter how much you try to ignore it, you can sense the shift. Women rarely cheat out of nowhere. There are always signs before it happens, small changes in her behavior that reveal what's really going on. If you pay attention, you'll notice them before it's too late. The first thing she does is create distance. The affection that used to come naturally now feels forced or non-existent. She no longer reaches for your hand. She avoids eye contact, and her hugs don't have the same warmth. The texts that once came instantly now take hours. When she does respond, her messages are shorter, less engaging, almost as if she's talking to you out of obligation rather than interest. And when you see each other, she's not excited like she used to be. There's no sparkle in her eyes, no rush to be near you. It feels like you're just another person in her life, not someone she truly cares about anymore. Then her routine starts changing. She's suddenly busier than usual, working late, picking up new hobbies, making plans that don't include you. It's not just about having personal space, it's about creating a life that you're no longer a part of. She used to share her schedule with you, but now, you're the last to know where she is or what she's doing. Plans become vague, details are left out, and she always has an excuse ready if you question why things have changed. When you bring up your concerns, she gets defensive. A simple question like, "Where were you?" or "Why didn't you answer my call?" sets her off. She acts annoyed, frustrated, as if you're the one causing problems. Instead of answering directly, she flips it on you. "Why are you so insecure? Why don't you trust me?" You're always overthinking. The more you push for answers, the more distant she becomes. In reality, she's not angry because you're wrong. She's angry because you're getting closer to the truth. And then, there's her phone. It used to be just another object, something she left around without a second thought. But now, it's always with her. When she gets a message, she tilts the screen away. Calls are taken in another room, and when she's around you, her phone is face down on the table. If you ask to use it, she hesitates. And if you ever get a glimpse of her messages, you notice things missing, conversations erased, call logs cleared. It's not paranoia. It's a sign that there's something she doesn't want you to see. These changes don't happen overnight. They build up gradually, making you question yourself before you even question her. But deep down, you already know something isn't right. The mistake most men make is ignoring these shifts, convincing themselves that it's nothing. But silence, distance, and secrecy are never just coincidences. They're warnings. And the sooner you recognize them, the sooner you'll know the truth. It starts subtly, so subtly that you don't even notice it at first. You bring up your concerns, trying to make sense of the changes in her behavior, but instead of answering, she flips the script. Suddenly, the conversation isn't about her actions. It's about you. "Why are you being so insecure?" "You're overreacting. You just don't trust me." She doesn't deny what you're feeling. She makes you doubt whether you should be feeling it at all. And that's where the real manipulation begins. She starts making you feel like the problem. If you question why she's been distant, she accuses you of being controlling. If you notice she's hiding her phone, she calls you paranoid. If you ask why she doesn't have time for you anymore, she says you're being needy. The focus shifts away from what she's doing and onto what's supposedly wrong with you. And the more she does it, the more you start to wonder if she's right. Maybe you are overthinking. Maybe you are being unreasonable. Maybe this is all in your head. That's exactly what she wants you to believe. Then come the distractions. When she senses you're getting too close to the truth, she creates chaos. She picks fights over the smallest things, turning every conversation into an argument. One minute, she's distant. The next, she's angry, accusing you of not understanding her, of always doubting her, of making her life difficult. The emotional roller coaster keeps you so focused on fixing things that you forget why you were questioning her in the first place. And just when you start to think things are getting worse, She throws in just enough affection to keep you hanging on. Maybe she apologizes. Maybe she reassures you for a moment. Maybe she acts like nothing ever happened. It's a cycle, one designed to keep you off balance. The biggest mistake men make in this phase is doubting their own intuition. Instead of trusting what they see and feel, they let her words override reality. They convince themselves that if they just stop asking questions, stop pushing for answers, stop overreacting, things will go back to normal. They accept blame they shouldn't have to carry, hoping that if they just hold on a little longer, she'll come back to them. But the truth is, she's already slipping away. She's just making sure you don't notice until it's too late. Gaslighting isn't just about lying. It's about making you question your own reality. And once she's made you doubt yourself, she knows she can get away with anything. The key is recognizing it before you fall too deep into the trap. If your instincts are telling you something is wrong, listen to them. Because the moment you start believing her over yourself, you've already lost. The moment you sense something is wrong, your instincts will push you to demand answers, to confront her with everything you've noticed, to catch her in a lie. But that's exactly what you shouldn't do. If she's cheating, she's already ahead of you. She's rehearsed her excuses, thought of ways to twist your words, and prepared to make you question yourself. The last thing you want is to walk into a conversation she's already planned how to win. Instead of accusing, observe. Pay attention to how she reacts when you calmly bring up your concerns. A woman who has nothing to hide will be open, willing to talk, and eager to reassure you because she values the relationship. But a woman who is guilty will do the opposite. She'll get defensive, irritated, or even try to turn the blame on you. She might act offended, as if she can't believe you would even ask such a thing. She might try to make you feel guilty for doubting her. Or she might shut down completely, refusing to engage. These aren't the reactions of someone who respects you. These are the reactions of someone trying to protect a secret. This is where most men make mistakes. They let their emotions take over. They beg for answers. They plead for honesty. They keep pushing, hoping that if they just ask the right question, she'll finally admit the truth. But that never happens. The more you chase clarity, the more she pulls away. And the more you let her dictate the conversation, the less control you have over the situation. The key is to set boundaries, not ultimatums. You're not here to convince her to be honest. You're not here to argue or prove your point. You're here to establish what you will and will not tolerate. Dishonesty, emotional distance, secrecy, these are not things you should have to beg her to change. If she respects you, she will make the effort on her own. If she doesn't, then you have your answer. A strong man doesn't beg for truth. He creates an environment where dishonesty cannot survive. That means making it clear that if she continues to be distant, to hide things, or to manipulate conversations, you won't stick around. You're not punishing her. You're not trying to make her confess. You're simply refusing to waste your time on someone who doesn't respect you enough to be honest. Her response to this will tell you everything you need to know. If she truly cares about you, she will be open, willing to listen, and eager to work through any problems. If she is guilty, she will either shut down completely or try to turn things around on you. And that's when you'll see the truth, not in what she says, but in how she reacts when she realizes you won't let her manipulate the situation. At the end of the day, confronting this like a man isn't about proving her wrong or catching her in a lie. It's about valuing yourself enough to demand honesty, respect, and loyalty. And if she can't give you that, then you don't need her to admit anything. You already know what you need to do. The hardest thing for most men to accept is that sometimes the most powerful move isn't fighting for an explanation. It's walking away without looking back. A woman who truly loves and respects you would never put you in a position where you have to question her loyalty. She wouldn't suddenly need space, she wouldn't start entertaining other options, and she wouldn't make you feel like an outsider in your own relationship. Love doesn't work that way. A woman who truly values you will want to be close to you, not pulling away under the excuse of confusion or needing time to think. When you find yourself in a situation where she is distant, secretive, or treating you like an option, the strongest thing you can do is walk away first. Most men make the mistake of sticking around, hoping things will go back to how they were. They tolerate the emotional games, the mixed signals, the sudden change in behavior, because they don't want to lose her. But here's the truth. When you tolerate disrespect, you lose something far more important than a relationship. You lose respect, not just from her, but from yourself. Women test men in ways they don't even realize. The moment she senses that she can push your boundaries without consequences, she will. And the more you accept, the more she will take. She might not even be doing it consciously, but deep down, she is learning what she can get away with. The only way to break this cycle is to show her, through your actions, that you are not a man who tolerates games. Walking away is not about making her chase you. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about setting a standard for how you expect to be treated and refusing to accept anything less. And the reality is, when you walk away, one of two things will happen. If she was playing games, if she was unsure, or if she thought she could manipulate you into staying on her terms, she will suddenly start chasing. The moment she realizes you won't fight for her attention, she will panic and try to get it back. This is because walking away shifts the dynamic. You are no longer the one seeking answers. You are the one setting the terms. And when a woman respects you, she will respond to that. But if she doesn't, if she lets you go without a fight, then you've just saved yourself from further humiliation. You've saved yourself months, maybe even years, of being strung along, disrespected, and treated like an afterthought. If she was truly done, she would have left eventually anyway. The only difference is, by walking away first, you kept your dignity intact. You didn't beg, you didn't plead, and you didn't let her decide when it was over. You made that choice for yourself. Most men think that leaving is a sign of weakness, but the truth is, it's the ultimate display of strength. It shows that you are not dependent on her for your happiness, that you are not afraid to be alone, and that you have enough self-respect to demand better. And that is exactly what separates weak men from strong ones. The weak man waits, hoping for change. The strong man recognizes when it's time to walk away, and when he does, he never looks back. The biggest mistake men make is waiting too long, convincing themselves that things will go back to normal. They hold on to hope, thinking that if they just give it time, she will remember the way things used to be. But here's the truth. Once a woman starts slipping away, she rarely comes back. By the time you feel the emotional distance, she has already checked out mentally. She might still be there physically, but her heart and mind are elsewhere. And if you ignore the signs, you will regret it. Many men live in denial because the truth is too painful to accept. They see the changes, the coldness, the sudden need for space, the secretive behavior, but instead of acting, they make excuses. They tell themselves she's just stressed, she's just busy, she's just going through something. But deep down, they know something is wrong. The problem is, by the time they are ready to face reality, it's already too late. She's already made her decision. She's just waiting for the right moment to walk away completely. If you don't act when you see the signs, you will be left in a cycle of regret. You will replay conversations in your head, searching for the exact moment everything changed. You will torture yourself with what-ifs, wondering if you could have done something differently. But the truth is, the moment you felt something was off, the moment you sensed that shift in her energy, that was your chance to act. That was the moment to confront the situation head-on, instead of sitting back and hoping for the best. The harsh reality is, most men don't act because they are afraid of losing her. They think that bringing up the problem will push her away faster, but in reality, staying silent only makes it worse. If she has already detached emotionally, she is waiting for you to either challenge her behavior or accept your role as a man she no longer respects. And when you accept it, you lose all power in the relationship. You become a placeholder, someone she keeps around out of convenience, while she decides what she really wants. Acting immediately doesn't mean getting angry or making accusations. It means setting boundaries. It means paying attention to how she responds when you express your concerns. If she gets defensive, if she dismisses your feelings, if she avoids accountability, that tells you everything you need to know. A woman who truly cares about you will not make you feel crazy for noticing a change. She will not gaslight you or turn the blame on you. But a woman who is slipping away, who is preparing to leave, will do exactly that. The moment you recognize the signs, you have two choices. Take control of the situation or wait until she makes the decision for you. If you wait, you will be left wondering what went wrong. You will be left picking up the pieces while she moves on without a second thought. But if you act immediately, you give yourself the power to walk away on your own terms. And that is the difference between a man who is left behind and a man who refuses to be anyone's second option. If this video made you see things more clearly, don't just sit back and do nothing. Awareness means nothing without action. The worst thing you can do is recognize the signs, but convince yourself to stay, hoping things will magically fix themselves. They won't. A woman who disrespects you once will do it again. A woman who emotionally checks out won't suddenly wake up and love you the way she used to. And a woman who gaslights you, makes you question your reality, and shifts the blame will only push the limits further if you allow it. Don't ignore what's right in front of you. Don't make excuses for behavior you know is unacceptable. And most importantly, don't waste your time on someone who doesn't see your worth. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Every second spent begging for attention, chasing someone who has already left in their mind, or waiting for things to go back to the way they were, is a second you could have used to level up, grow stronger, and become the kind of man who doesn't tolerate disrespect. If you're ready to move forward with self-respect and strength, make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right mindset. Support the channel, subscribe for more content, and if you want to wear the mindset, check out the channel merch. This isn't just about one situation or one relationship. It's about becoming a man of value, a man who refuses to beg for love, and a man who commands respect in every aspect of life. The choice is yours. Act now, or stay stuck.